should I buy a Switch 2? That's a question that a lot of us have been asking ourselves ever since the Switch 2 came out. But we've really been reevaluating that thing right now, that very question, because recently Nintendo announced, they gave us a heads up here, that the Switch 2 will be having a price increase. Starting September 1st of 2026, it will now cost $500 to get a Switch 2 instead of $450. And that's not the biggest bump in the world, but a lot of people are kind of afraid of that because, well, other systems like PlayStation 5 systems, Xbox Series systems, they've also had price hikes, and those consoles have had multiple of them. It wasn't just the one. So people are kind of scared that this might be, not just a one-time thing, and it may be the first of many. And so getting it sooner rather than later sounds like a good idea, just to save money, potentially. And I guess I'm going to say right off the bat that, look, if you're looking at a Switch 2 and there's stuff you already want to get on there, if there's games that are out or announced that you're looking forward to, you're like, yes, that's going to be a system seller for me, I'm actually absolutely going to play that, yes, do it. However, at the same time, if that's not there, I don't think that gamble is a good one to take, that, they might have something you want later to save, pay $450 to maybe save $50 or $100 or something, right? Like, realistically, you're not going to save, tons of money on it when it's all said and done, most likely. It's not going to get crazy expensive, I wouldn't imagine, so I don't know. I don't think that's a good gamble. But let me kind of try to help answer these questions here, because there's a lot of people looking at the Switch 2, and they're just like, should I get it? And to help answer that right here, first of all, if you don't have any Switch systems whatsoever, but you're really interested in playing a lot of Switch and or Switch 2 games, get a Switch 2. It's really tempting to just get a Switch to save some money, but the thing is, the original Switch systems, all of those, instead of going down when the Switch 2 came out, the prices went up. Because the prices of a lot of things went up, and that surprised a lot of people. So the thing is, to break that down a bit, the OLED Switch right now is $400. So I don't know that you're saving $50 is really worth it in that regard. Even if you play handheld all the time and you really like OLED, the thing is, that's still only like a 720p display. And it's going to be max, 60 hertz refresh rate, whereas the Switch 2 has a larger screen. It has 1080p output, or resolution, I guess it's outputting to itself. It has 1080p, does HDR, and it goes up to 120 hertz refresh rate. So you're just probably going to get a better visual, even though it's an LCD screen, you're going to get better visuals overall. In handheld mode. I think it's probably a pretty easy no-brainer there to just go for the Switch 2 instead. Almost every Switch game is going to play on there. There's some that probably aren't compatible, but if it's a big major title, it probably is. The things you actually want to play will probably play. Now, on a regular Switch, it's only gone up to $340, which is a less big jump, but the thing is, this is like a 10-year-old system, and it shows. And that's still kind of a high price to pay for something that is on its way out. You're probably better off spending the extra money to get a Switch 2 and have not only all the Switch games play, but also have the future-proofing of more stuff to come in the future. If you're going to go that route, you'd be better off going for, a refurbished model or a good condition used one. I've seen refurbished ones go for like $200 even. So, I mean, you could probably get a pretty good deal on there. And at that point, a regular Switch is totally worth it for the great amount of stuff you can still play on it. I just don't know that the brand new price of $340 is really that appealing right now. And a similar thing for the Switch Lite. I've never been a big fan of it. Never been one to promote that to people. But if you just want to play in handheld mode, you don't even mind not having the console capabilities to play on your TV. And you don't mind it being smaller, and you're really like, I just really want the cheapest Switch I can get to play Switch games, then once again, that one is, $230? That's what it jumped up to? if you can get a used or refurbished one for $150 or less, I think that's probably the best bet to go for that, because again, you're still getting a lot of bang for your buck there, even for the things you're missing out on. So yeah, unless you're looking to save a good chunk of money, spring the extra bit and get a Switch 2. That's what I'm going to recommend there. But things get harder for people like me who already own a Switch. Then it becomes a more difficult thing. Like I already kind of mentioned, if you're, you see games on it already you want to get, right? There's some stuff either on the Switch 2 or that's been officially announced that is coming out on the Switch 2. And you're like, all right, that is a system seller to me. I absolutely will want to play that. I can't wait to play that. Then get the thing, especially before the price goes up. Just get it. However, if that doesn't exist there, I would really recommend against gambling on it. Because a lot of people have this idea that, well, there's been rumors and leaks about this game, so it's probably going to show up, or this is a big IP, it shows up on all of these systems anyways. They're obviously going to do one on a Switch too, right? They're not going to just not do it. Don't go off of things like that, because you're doing a gamble. Buying a system for a game that might exist on it is not a good idea. Buying the system with the hopes that you eventually will be able to have enough stuff to make it worth your while is just not a good reason to get one, because you're paying a good chunk of money immediately for something that may or may not show up later. And while the price of the system may go up, it may be worth that extra $50 to $100 to get something you really like on there, and at that point it'll be worth it. It also, if you wait longer, the Switch 2 may also go back down in price if things can improve, with the way with RAM and the economy and whatever stuff's going on. Maybe it'll come back down. Who knows where you'll be by then. If you don't have a compelling reason to get a Switch 2, something that makes you actually want it and make you want to use it, something that excites you about it, then don't get it. Don't get a Switch 2 because it's a gamble that you're afraid right now, especially if you're just so afraid that you're going to not be able to get one, or it's going to become, too scarce or too expensive or something like that. If you're thinking of it that way, then at the point where it costs too much money for you to get, well, then it's not a very good value anymore because it costs too much money. And maybe it's not a great system because of it. Maybe that's an actual flaw in what's going on with it. I just don't think you should be running out and grabbing a Switch 2 just because you're afraid, because you're of the fear of missing out, the FOMO. I don't want you to be a FOMO sexual and just go get that. Or as my friend called it, a FOMO sapien. I don't want you to just get a Switch 2 just because you need to have one. You should have games that you really want to play on it and that you're going to play on it. Again, it's tough because it is really enticing to just jump in and get it now while it's, before the storm of it getting more expensive, and who knows when that'll end, or when it'll come back down, or anything like that. A lot of things are uncertain. But rest assured that if it's got enough stuff on there for you to get it, an extra $50, while that could go towards a peripheral or a subscription or something else, the reality is that, the extra $50 may just end up being worth it once there's enough, for you to actually play and do on the thing, versus, getting it now and hoping that that'll happen later. And I thought I would just share my 2 cents on if you should get a Switch 2. So, let me know what you think of this little breakdown in the comments, if you would. What you think about getting that, which model to get for older Switch models, and prices on those you would think makes sense. Or if you think I'm missing out on something, if there's something I've been missing when I've been, thinking about this for a while. So, am I missing something in my rush to make a video? I mean, we got months yet, but still. Definitely let me know, have the conversations, that'll be fun. And perhaps helpful for viewers who are catching this video and being like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, that's where I am, that's where we're at, and we'll see where it goes. That's good. I don't have to do a cut, do I? No, I'll just stop the video. That's fine. See ya.